At this point I'm standing in the bathroom panicking because my lady bits and butt are all glued up. Today I fucked up on Reddit Rundown. We've got some nasty stories for you today. Today I fucked up by helping my father dig up the backyard. Obligatory, this happened about 2 years ago. I rented a backhoe for the weekend to do some work and my dad asked me to bring it by because he wanted a drainage trench dug. I got there and dug the trench without issue, but my dad suddenly had another idea. He explained to me that back in the 70s when he first built the house, he had buried a lead-lined cooler in the backyard, and he was concerned about the lead contamination. I asked him where the cooler was and he pointed to a general area of the yard. I began digging holes throughout his search zone without luck. After about an hour of digging what seemed to be random holes, jackpot. The backhoe found the cooler and busted it into pieces. Another thing my father neglected to mention to me was that this was during his hobbyist taxidermy phase. It turned out that one weekend the power went out and the freezer he had unprepared deer hides in thawed out. His thinking was to put the deer hides in a cooler and bury it in the backyard to dispose of the deer hides. Fast forward to 45 years and the cooler that contained deer hides now contained a rancid liquid that sat in wait for an unsuspecting person to dig up years later. When the liquid oozed out, this heavy overpowering putrid smell of death, worse than a bloated whale covered in chicken shit and rotten eggs, began to overtake my senses. I gagged, my dad gagged, and I decided I'd had enough and was out of there. I put the backhoe on the trailer and left. The liquefied deer carcass was covering the backhoe's bucket and followed me home. From the driveway the smell began to flow into my house and soon enough my neighbor was outside asking if something died on my property. I explained what happened and hosed the backhoe off. The next morning, I headed back over to my parents' house. I was at least a 1/4 mile away and the pungent smell of death began to enter my nostrils. The closer I got to my parents, the stronger the smell. Overhead, at least a dozen turkey vultures were circling my parents' property. By the time I got to their house I couldn't breathe, the stench was so bad. I ran into the house to find my mother waiting for me. "What the hell is wrong with you?" my mother yells at me. She began flipping out on me since I was the one operating the backhoe and broke open the time bomb. She hadn't slept all night and the neighbors all around were pissed. She then told me that the local police had paid a visit out of concern expressed by the neighbors. I promised from that moment on I would not entertain any of my dad's dimwit ideas. The smell took 3 days to disappear from the neighborhood and another 2 days after that to disappear from my parents' property. Today I fucked up by enlisting my best friend to find the mystery smell in my basement. Obligatory, this didn't happen today, but yesterday. So yesterday I had some virtual work training to do, thanks COVID, and so did my best friend. So, we decided to conduct our virtual training together while getting some things done around my house. I had a smell in the basement that I just couldn't seem to put my finger on. It was pretty rank, so I asked him to lend a nose to help me find it during the downtime throughout the day. So, we started out sniffing around. I cleaned the litter boxes out really well. No unusual stink there. He pulled out all of the boxes that store the Christmas ornaments, etc. in case one of the cat's meals had escaped and then perished. Nope, nothing hidden. We pulled out the washer hose, scrubbed the utility sink, pulled apart the shelves, even opened up the access in the bottom of the chimney and stuck hands and flashlights up there to try to find something. We tried everything, and still nothing. Still stinky, but after a full clean of the basement, we just couldn't figure it out. The only place we hadn't looked was the sump in the corner of the basement. So, I pulled on a pair of work gloves, and yanked up the top, ready to find all manner of things. But that was a letdown too. It was dry as a bone and still as clean as a drain in your basement can be. But the smell was there, and getting stronger. Now let me explain the smell. Picture belly button lint left to fester for 50 years in a fat man's navel. Picture that cave of bat guano that David Attenborough spoke about in Planet Earth. Picture Satan's prolapsed asshole. Those descriptions don't really scratch the surface of that odor. While pondering our life decisions that brought us to that point, he likely regretting that the army ever introduced us, and me wondering who the hell puts a gaping hole in the basement anyway. My bestie shifts, and bumps into the hose that leads from the sump pump to the outside of the house. It's full of liquid. That's odd. So being a nice fellow, he lets me know and we proceed to try to flush it out. No dice. Looks like we'll have to pull the hose. Being a taller lad, he grabs the top, and gives it a good yank while I collect a bucket to drain the water into. What happened next is almost beyond words. When the hose let loose from the side of the house, out poured the most noxious, hellish stench I have ever had the misfortune of smelling. But not only a stench came forth, but also a gush of blackish sludge. Cue intense dry heaving from both unwitting humans and a scattering of the two cats who had been watching us with somewhat amused indifference. Being that he is holding a hose full of God only knows what, he can't flee as the cats have done. Being a good friend, I can't flee either, leaving my comrade to deal with that particular perfumey soup. So, we devise a plan in between the heaves that are still occurring. We'll hold the hose/bucket/pump, and sprint for the door. So, we do. We run like Usain Bolt. But as we do so, the hose is flicking its particular form of bilge water onto us. It's like a fucking color run, but instead of colored powder, we are being showered in wastewater and broken dreams. In a black spray of what can only be described accurately as putrefaction, we make it outside, now stinking in a way that is indescribable. I won't even try. So, we get the hose disconnected, still retching, and take the garden hose to flush the demons from its depths. And what comes next may be the most disgusting thing I have ever encountered. The congealed remains of what likely amounted to dozens of mice came barreling out of the end of the hose. Mouse shards, bone, fur, and liquefied guts spilled onto the lawn. Screw never leaving your comrade, we both bolted. After much airing out, we pitched the hose, that shit went straight into the trash, and no, I don't even feel guilty about not recycling that. After what that hose had seen, it could never be resurrected into a poor unknowing consumer plastic good. It was a goner. For the rest of the day you could still smell us, even after showering. When we went for a run later, the stench re-emerged, oozing out of our pores. So here I sit, writing this to you, and still surreptitiously sniffing myself and my surroundings, catching phantom whiffs of the eau de mouse that will never leave me. In the end though, I still have my friend, surprisingly, and now have to fill a hole in the side of my house with a new hose, one with a cap or something that the mice won't get into and then drown in a soup of their deceased relatives. Some things can't be unseen. Or unsmelled in this case, can't be unseen. Today I fucked up by playing with my butt and flooding my apartment. Probably my most costly orgasm ever. This just happened and I really have to talk about how fucking stupid I am. As certain men will appreciate, playing with your butt when you masturbate is great fun. So that's what I was doing. I have a dildo for just such an occasion. After I finished, I grabbed some paper towels I had handy to wipe the lube off my hands, then removed the dildo. Which, no surprise for something coming out of a butt, had poop on it, not great but sometimes it happens. So, there I am covered in comb and lube, with a shitty dildo in my hand and I think I need to clean this thing. I use the paper towels to wipe off the worst of it and my brain does the thing it always does with shitty paper, flushes it down the toilet. Of course, this immediately clogs it and begins overflowing into the bathroom, a puddle rapidly grows across the room. I'm still stood there naked staring at it with the poopy penetrator in one hand. I realized it wasn't stopping and run to grab more paper towels still looking like an overworked gigolo. I managed to dam the worst of the flow while I frantically phoned a plumber who is likely going to charge me £100 to unclog the damn thing. I had to tell my landlord, who asked how it got clogged, that some paper towels must have got in there. He asked how. I'm still not sure how to answer that. TLDR, fucked myself then fucked myself. TLD. Today I fucked up by having explicit passwords. I'll try to make this short, sweet, and to the point. My husband was in a friend's wedding. We share a car so my mother-in-law came over to entertain our baby while I got ready. I drove my mother-in-law's car with her and my baby and everything was going well and smooth. A little necessary background. I fucked my phone up and can only use it on speaker. This isn't a problem because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it's not obnoxious and awkward for me to walk around and gabble like a high school girl when I'm at home 99% of the time. But in this situation, it led to the worst possible outcome. Whilst driving Mill's car with her sitting next to me, my husband calls and says he lost his phone and needs the iCloud password to do the Find My iPhone thing. I mumble, "I'll tell you when I see you." Cue the brigade of him asking why I can't tell him it, how badly he needs it right now, and mother-in-law chiming in that she isn't going to use it and why can't I tell him? We're all family. It's not a big deal, I give in awkwardly and mumble, "Nicole Spooty." He says nope, didn't work. I mumble, maybe Nicole Spooty 69? Surprise, not that either. For the next 5 minutes I recount every explicit password I've made for our Wi-Fi, iClouds, various accounts. It ended up being Johnscock0107, our anniversary date, how romantic am I, my mother-in-law, a devout Catholic, was mortified and now I'm pretty sure thinks I'm a sex deviant who worships sex and has corrupted her sonny boy. TLDR, traumatized mother-in-law by making iCloud password her son's penis with our anniversary date. Today I fucked up by inviting my girlfriend to my house. I invited my girlfriend to my house today. How could it go wrong? Parents caught us having sex? Parents caught us in the middle of something that looks extremely awkward from the outside, like a weird game? No, God no. If a God is out there, clearly I haven't prayed enough because holy fuck. The things I'd do to take this back. To preface this, me and my mom are quite close. We talk a lot about topics most people can't with their parents, from masturbation to marriage issues. My girlfriend knows I'm quite open about a lot of stuff, like the fact that I watch hentai and jerk off almost excessively. Yes, you can reach this level of openness with your parents. I'm not anywhere near as close with my dad, but my mom, and some younger siblings, who cares, was the only person home at the time. What my girlfriend didn't know is that me and my mom do not under any circumstances discuss our kinks or fetishes. My girlfriend did however know I like to cross-dress, among some other stuff, so, my mom picks us up, girlfriend and mom meet each other and talk about some stuff. They're just casually chatting and then my mom makes a joke about me having panties in my drawer. I shrug it off with some comments about how do you know, adding to the joke. We are laughing, then my girlfriend starts saying, well yeah, you know how yeah does that and stuff, and variations of it for what felt like the longest 5 or so seconds of my life. I would love to see the look on my face as she basically told my own mother that I cross-dress for sexual pleasure. She didn't explicitly say, but it was heavily implied by context, and the fact that I instantly started panicking. The look on my face and body language would have given it away. My mom is a smart person, and she definitely would have known. TLDR, invited girlfriend to house, she told my mom I wear panties sometimes. House. Today I fucked up by screenshotting a meme at work. So, I'd been at work a couple hours and every office employee knows when you need a bit of a break you either go for a smoke or go to the bathroom. So, there I was, sitting in my stall scrolling through memes when I found a particularly funny one. There were a couple other women in the bathroom chatting it up, complaining about their masks, as they freshened their makeup. And I decided I wanted to snapshot that one meme to send to my brother. Little did I know, I didn't turn the sound off on my phone. Click chatter stops. Little Gaspa whispered oh my god and they all ran out of the bathroom. I was a little confused, like why did that camera shutter sound scared them, they weren't the ones with their pants at their ankles. Next thing I know, I'm being called into my supervisor's office having to explain that no, I wasn't taking coochie pictures in the bathroom, but rather screenshotting a meme. And yes, I did have to show her the timestamp of me texting it to my brother to prove it. TLDR, screenshotted a meme in the bathroom with the sound on. Coworkers thought I was taking pics of my pussy. Edit, I find it funny that my first post to blow up is one about possibly being fired for a coochie pic. Lamau. Thanks everyone for the likes, awards, and venting with me. Today I fucked up by clogging my new boyfriend's toilet. Well, Reddit. It's happened. My worst and most embarrassing fuck up was today. I've been seeing this new guy and we're very new. It's a few weeks in and we are still on our best behaviors in front of each other. He's never even farted in front of me yet. He told me he'd pick up food after work and to meet him at his place. I go over and he's bought a whole buffet of Mexican food. I didn't have the heart to tell him I have a sensitive stomach towards Mexican food. I didn't want him to feel like he wasted money, so I bit the bullet and ate some food. An hour goes by and I'm thinking, hey, I'm feeling good. Maybe I'm in the clear. I should have made my escape then. If only I knew what was about to happen. We were sitting on the couch watching a movie and I started to sweat. Like painful belly cramps, and sweating so profusely I feel like I'm going to slide off the couch. I wait for the cramps to ease a tiny bit and I take off running to the bathroom. My guy is yelling down the hall asking if I'm okay. I can't answer. I get to the bathroom and take the biggest shit of my life. I'm pretty sure it was wrapped around in the toilet looking like a real life poop emoji. I was feeling great relief until I realized I've now clogged the toilet. I'm now panicking and searching all over the bathroom for a plunger. No luck. I couldn't face my guy and ask him for the plunger because that's too embarrassing. So, my logical mind thinks of the next best thing. My foot. Yes, my foot. I put my foot in the toilet bowl and try making the suction like a plunger would. To my relief, it worked. Now I have shitty water in between my toes. I wash my feet and then hands in the sink, walked back out like nothing crazy happened, gave him a kiss, and made a hasty retreat. So, do I tell him about what happened or should I just keep it to myself? And all of Reddit? TLDR, ate bad food. Used my foot to unclog boyfriend's toilet. Today I fucked up and now my ass cheeks are glued together. Unlike most posts, this is happening right now. My partner is spending the weekend so I started tidying up around the house. I had the great idea to wax quickly as well, as I didn't want to be rushing in the shower with a razor. I've used those little home wax kits a handful of times and had success, so I thought I could speed up the process by slapping a couple on all at once and ripping those motherfuckers off like Beyblades one after another. That's where the fuck up happened. I don't know if it was just too much wax or I didn't pull the skin tight enough or what, but when I pulled off the first strip all the wax stayed on my skin. Oops. Next strip same thing. So now I'm freaking out a bit and have stupidly pulled all the strips off the same way. The wax is clumped all over my baby bits. I tried baby wipes, soap nothing. At this point I'm standing in the bathroom panicking because my lady bits and butt are all glued and I can't even spread my legs and my partner is less than 20 minutes away. TLDR, tried to be slick and wax like it was an Olympic sport, now all my bits are stuck together. Update, my partner showed up early and I'm locked in the bathroom writing this. I'm considering climbing out the window and leaving. Update number 2, I stood in place for a while and ended up getting a section of my thighs stuck too, so that was peachy. After freaking out for about 15 minutes and trying to figure out how to leave the bathroom, I did what an early commenter, Shadow Band I think, suggested and took a hot shower. Someone else suggested oil-based liquid so I thought hey, shampoo, that's oil-based. Blame my general stupidity or frantic state, whatever another wrong move. It's still kind of sticky but on the bright side it smells like coconut now. I got a decent amount off with the hot water, then air dried and joined my partner. He questioned why I was in the bathroom for 45 minutes but I just laughed it off and said hair stuff. I'll be going to a professional from now on. Thanks for all your suggestions. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown, give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.